Hello,
All right.
everyone. This is my 2 cents,
Turn
and
this.
I don't know about y'all, but I have
There we
heard
go.
a little bit too much about current events and everything else going on lately. So before we get to the update stream tonight, I just wanted to have a chill stream to talk about whatever, and of course, say thank you to all the patrons who continue to make my work possible. So right now, I'm joined by Mikhail the Stray Cat, and for the next hour or so, we're just gonna hang out, talk about whatever either he wants to talk about, or if y'all have anything you want to talk about, go ahead and put it in the chat. Can be serious, but it doesn't have to be. So, JC Armitage sent one. Hello to both of you.
Hey,
Anyways,
JC.
Mikhail, what have you been up to?
Well, apart from craziness at work here in the great Lone Star State, um, 2 cents.
Oh, yep, I hear you. Just craziness at work.
Craziness at work and craziness throughout the country.
Oh yeah, certainly. Scorch 88. I
I
see you
I,
said he'll
I,
be
I
on
would
soon.
very much
So
like to applaud those let's call them the peaceful protesters in Minneapolis and other cities for torching their own towns to the ground. Good job. That's so nice.
absolutely. We all know that the absolute best way to achieve your goals of taking down the rich billionaire capitalist overlords and dismantling the corrupt racist police departments is to
Oh
trash and destroy
yes,
small businesses that have
absolutely.
absolutely nothing to do with either, and
Yeah,
ensure that the poorest among us don't have jobs and can't make money.
yeah. It's so nice. It's so nice.
Yeah. I will say, it's if there's ever been a time that has demonstrated, then it looks like we lost Mikhail temporarily. We'll see if he comes back. But if there has ever been a time that in American history that has demonstrated the necessity of privately owned firearms, it is absolutely what is going on right now. We've seen multiple police chiefs and departments coming out saying they're not going to put their officers in danger to protect innocent people or property because their officers' lives are too important. Now, granted, I don't want to.
Sorry about
I
that.
certainly understand not wanting to unnecessarily put anyone in harm's way, especially when things are this dangerous. But it seems to me that the police swore an oath to protect and serve their communities. Allegedly, this is supposedly what they're supposed to be doing, and yet they say when you call the police, we're not going to come help you because it's too dangerous. Well, as I talked about in my video, the case for private police, the courts have consistently held up that the police have absolutely no legal obligation to protect you. So when push comes to shove, the person responsible for your own protection is you. And in places where people have a high volume of privately owned firearms, I noticed that these riots aren't causing nearly as much trouble.
Yeah, it's amazing how that happens. Apologies for the disruption. My bad.
No problem. It's the internet. Technical difficulties abound.
Yeah, but yeah, you bring up a very good point. It's amazing. You know, the courts have consistently, over and over and over again, held up that the police are effectively a public resource. Therefore, they have no responsibility to the individual who may or may not call them. So, you know, I can't imagine why, you know, all of this looting and rioting tends to happen in places where, you know, the government, you know, does its very best to try to restrict ownership of firearms by private individuals. Amazing how that works.
Absolutely. Not to mention the police absolutely love to enforce petty crimes, speeding tickets, parking violations, smoking weed, everything else, because those individuals who are engaging in victimless crimes are generally peaceful and don't fight back. It's the dangerous criminals who are themselves armed that they're always hesitant to go after.
Yeah, it's fascinating how this works, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Now, one thing I think there's actually, I was looking at Twitter today and I noticed Representative Ilhan Omar, the famous Minnesota representative who allegedly married her brother to commit some kind of immigration fraud,
Yeah,
is
how's this
now
romance
advocating
going?
that Minneapolis disband their police department and instead replace it with a team of unarmed, quote unquote, safety officers. Now, I would be all for defunding public police departments and then allowing the people to bid on private security firms that would effectively accomplish the same task and do it
I
better.
am all for privatizing the police, so to speak.
Absolutely. And I think in there, the question about defunding the police is actually an important one, in as much as when people propose defunding the police, I absolutely think that's something that needs to be talked about. Because if, for example, suppose this whole case with George Floyd had been a case where a privatized police force was arresting George Floyd, either rightly or wrongly, and this officer did what the Minneapolis police officer did, and resulting in George Floyd's death. Instead of protesting in the streets, I would guarantee you there would be massive amounts of individuals calling that private police firm saying they're pulling their support and pulling their funding and going in favor of a different firm that can train its officers properly.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
That would effectively be the death of that firm in favor of a better competing firm. Of course, because the police department is publicly funded through taxes, the people don't have a choice. And the departments, although they can issue all kinds of statements about what they're going to do to increase funding and increase training for their officers, they never really have to improve because they know that you can't get rid of them.
Yeah, it's kind of the same way. Not just with the police force, but yes, you bring up a very good point. Again, I'm all for privatizing the police, just for that reason. But it's the same way with pretty much any government employee. Whether anyone wants to admit it or not, the bare fact is, it is unbelievably hard to fire them. Hey, Darkon, what's up?
Yo, been a while, 2 cents.
Yeah, it certainly has. I know we've all been busy, and I think I'm not even. First, I should quick say I apologize if my audio isn't as good quality as it usually is. I'm not actually in my studio right now. I am on the road with my laptop and not so great mic, but I did want to get one of these streams in.
Yeah, I kind of heard some of the dialogue, and I heard that you guys are talking about the riots and police or methods of police and so forth.
Mm-hmm. Let me fill you in on the background. I was bringing up how I saw on Twitter today that Ilhan Omar, the representative from Minnesota who allegedly married her brother to commit immigration fraud, she is leading a public campaign to defund the Minneapolis police and replace them with a group of unarmed safety officers. Now, I think it's replacing them with a publicly funded group of unarmed safety officers is a pretty dumb idea. Although in there, the fact that she's brought up defunding the police does actually raise the important question of whether or not privatized police would do a better job, in as much as instead of rioting, if you had a private police force and the people felt that the police force was unnecessarily brutal and and causing the deaths of innocent people, you could pull your funding in favor of a better competing private police firm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I thought Omar's idea, let's defund the police and then introduce an unarmed police force. That's incredibly stupid. But although the question of defunding, I think, is an important point that I think there's a better conversation that can be had that most people aren't having.
And it's like sending the cat to chase the mice without any claws or teeth.
Exactly.
Yes. I guess that's how I came up with the joke, is looking at your profile picture, Mikhail.
It's cool, Darkon. That's awesome.
Now, I was not particularly a fan of this movie, but did everyone see the fifth Indiana Jones where Harrison Ford was really old and they are going after aliens?
Wait, fifth?
Or was it the fourth one, the Crystal Skull one?
Yeah, fourth.
Excuse me, fourth.
It's fourth.
Okay. Yeah, I think about that scene in the beginning where Shia LaBeouf and Indiana Jones are sitting at the table and the two Russian agents come over. And Shia LaBeouf pulls out his switchblade like he's such a tough guy. And Indiana Jones says, "Kid, you just brought a knife to a gunfight." And they move theirs and they both have pistols. And he's like, "Oh, crap."
I mean,
we got Scorch in the house.
If you want to include the Indiana Jones series of where it took place of when that he was still a kid or teenager or whatever, well then I guess technically there are 5 Indiana Jones, but no, there's only 4 movies. 2 cents.
Yeah, Scorch, thank you for joining us.
Hey, what's up?
What up, Scorch?
Not much.
Been a while, Scorch. Aside from you visiting live chats of my streams.
Yeah, I've been very busy lately.
Everybody
all
has
have.
been. It's certainly been a crazy time of life for the past few months.
I tell you what, it's been kind of a fairly miserable week for me. Like, for one thing, actually, I do not know which one to start off with because I do not know which one is worse. But on the one hand, I've been arguing with dumbasses primarily on Facebook because I took a break from Twitter, especially ever since the rioting news really picked up speed. People on Facebook who are actually pro-rioting, or they say that they're not pro-rioting, at least some of them, but yet they share all these memes and other posts that go arguing for the riots. So cognitive dissonance much. And then on the other flip side of my week is that I've been working out in the hot ass sun and over 90-degree temperatures, trying to break down a whole bunch of big metal containers for us to recycle them over at the business that I work for.
Well, that certainly sounds brutal.
I can relate.
That's interesting because I've been having the opposite effect. That most of the people is talking about how protesters are just stupid and there's no corruption
Hey,
whatsoever.
Scorch, is that you? I can barely hear you.
Can you hear me better?
I can hear you fine, Scorch.
Yeah, I can hear him plenty of fine.
Oh, I'm saying that
cool.
I've been having
me then. Sorry.
I'm having the opposite experience where most of my Facebook is filled up with people just saying the cops are not corrupted. It's just that one bad person, and they say that over and over and over again. And they consider anyone that supports the protest automatically equals that they are now the rioters or looters.
Oh god.
There was actually a really great article at the Mises Institute this week by Ryan McMacken, who pointed out that he said the rank and file conservative is incredibly pro-police and incredibly anti-government. The rank and file liberal is incredibly pro-government and incredibly anti-police. But everyone seems to be ignoring that the police are effectively the enforcers of the government. So it doesn't make sense to love the one and hate the other.
Yeah, I've never understood why people that claim to be anti-government, in many cases, are very pro-police. And they don't seem to realize the police is effectively the strong arm of the government. I don't understand this.
Sent One's got a great comment here. For all those that love that 70s show,
Hey, Sent One.
as Red Foreman would most likely say to the rioters now, "Hey, dumbass, do you get out much?"
That's hilarious.
I do love that 70s show. All my friends tell me that when I get to be middle-aged, I will be exactly like Red Foreman. Now, I just need to make sure I don't have a son who is as much of a wuss as Eric.
Yes, for the love of God. No more Eric Foremans. Not like there aren't enough of them in the world as it is.
Anyways, there will undoubtedly be more of that conversation on tonight's update stream. But what else is going on in the world besides riots? I mean, nothing making the news anyways. But as always, let's go ahead and look at my Twitter feed.
Sorry about that. But didn't I hear something about Hong Kong being officially part of China very recently?
Good on that one, Darkon. I'd almost forgotten about that at this point. It shows you how much the news feed's been corrupted with rioting to try and push out everything else that's going on in the world. But you are correct. The Chinese police and military have effectively moved into Hong Kong entirely. They've passed the National Security Act, which basically makes it illegal to criticize the Chinese government in any fashion. So Hong Kong, which was once for a long time the freest economy in the world, has now been forcibly absorbed into the People's Republic of China and will cease to be free.
Well, fuck me sideways.
Yeah, isn't that wonderful?
Yeah. It really is a shame. Hong Kong was proof positive of just how powerful free markets are. Hong Kong is effectively, a rock with no
Yeah,
natural
I was gonna say,
resources
is
of
that
its
built
own.
basically on a
Yet, with
rock?
the freest economy in the world, it turned into an economic powerhouse that completely disproved how Chinese totalitarianism. It was a shining light of the power of free enterprise in the middle of Chinese totalitarianism.
By the way,
Yeah.
I keep on hearing a clicking noise from somebody's end. I do not know what that is.
Yeah, it's probably a mic, so probably best if everyone, when you're not talking, go ahead and mute your mics, and we'll avoid all that feedback.
At first I thought I saw a super chat there, but no, it's just a Firestone ad underneath the chat on my end.
You gotta make
Ladies
sure.
and gentlemen, this stream is brought to you by Firestone.
I suppose it is. Everybody go check out Firestone. Maybe if you click on it, I'll get some ad revenue, but probably not.
Awesome.
JC Armitage asks, does that make Singapore the freest economy in the world? If I'm not mistaken, Singapore was number 2 on the Index of Economic Freedom, so probably. Although even them, I mean, Singapore was instituting the robot dogs that check your temperature, so they were getting pretty totalitarian with the whole COVID thing. I mean, between COVID and these riots and everything else going on, you can just see all, the news cycle has been nothing but state-manufactured crises in order for governments around the world to justify increasing their control over the people.
Hong Kong absorbed by China. There's a Reuters article that I had come across on that issue, but I cannot remember. I wish I had saved it. I think it was sent to me on Twitter or something.
Well,
Hey,
I actually
dumb
remember.
question. You think it'll show up in the Epoch Times?
In the Epoch Times?
Yes, that's correct. Do you think it'll show up there?
I mean, probably. I haven't followed the Epoch Times very closely, although I've been seeing a lot of their ads on YouTube lately. So, but probably, I'd say look into it. I was going to say, I actually saw an article this week that said Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of the UK, was offering refugee status to up to 3 million Hong Kong residents who wanted to flee to the United Kingdom. Of course, in virtue of the fact that Hong Kong was a British colony for a very long time.
Yeah, screw it. I'm just going to very briefly go on Twitter right now.
Don't do it, Darkon. Don't succumb to the dark side.
Yes.
No, avoid the dark side.
I mean, not that I'm one to talk. I'm on Twitter all the time. I just work as hard as I can not to actually get into arguments.
Oh boy.
Likewise.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Twitter. I like people. I like having the ability to, share your thoughts and ideas and have people interact with those. But I will not, unless I am strangely motivated for some reason, I am done arguing on social media platforms because it is a black hole from which you will never escape. When you comment on somebody else's post, trying to debunk what they've said, they comment on your comments, you comment on their comments. Everyone's always determined to have the last word, and it goes on for hours. And of course, the majority of people never even read it. So you've then wasted your entire day arguing with someone. Neither of you have changed your minds, and probably no one's going to read your back and forth.
Yeah, at least you actually get something out of a response video war with somebody on YouTube.
Exactly. That's why I've said, if you want me to respond to you, make a response video. I will not respond to, or very rarely will I respond to comments, because it's just going to be an endless black hole that the majority of people won't even read.
Right. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. There is this one particular comment that I had responded to from a subscriber of mine who's like one of the biggest, most bad faith hacks of a subscriber that I've ever had. Like on this one episode of Strike Force of mine, Mikhail might have seen it. Whatever your opinion on police might be, I solidly believe and say that a policeman does not deserve to be shot just for pulling you over for speeding. And in that episode of Strike Force, I was reacting to a compilation video by a YouTube channel called Pigland. and it was basically glorifying the killing of all these cops. And I was thinking, let's judge as to whether they're justified, who is the first to, aggress, to lay a blow or whatever. On about half of them, I ruled neutral. The other half, I ruled that it's either slightly unjustified or highly unjustified that the police officer in the given example was killed. But in this one particular example, a cop was shot just for pulling someone over for a speeding ticket. And I was saying, okay, yeah, no, that's definitely wrong right there. I mean, whatever you think of speeding laws, I think that's like one of the lesser things to worry about personally. But not getting a whole lot further into that subject right there. And you kill somebody just for a speeding ticket. You basically not mean to like do an appeal to emotion, but you're depriving their family of, the police officer's family of them, so to speak.
Even if you believe the speeding ticket was unjust, that is definitely a disproportionate response. I'll get behind that, no problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So underneath underneath that stream, a guy commented, "Oh, so actually, let me pull up the screen cap that I've taken of the whole conversation, if I can. Go on, Mikhail."
Oh, I was just gonna say, okay, if you're going to if you're gonna shoot somebody, one, did they initiate force against you, and second, to what level did they initiate force against you? Because this sounds utterly egregiously overblown. Like that is not in any way justifiable. If it was just over a speeding ticket and you want to shoot the cop, you gotta be kidding me.
All right, so I have the comment pulled up. The first guy, he comments, so a speeding ticket isn't worth me killing a cop over, yet a cop will absolutely kill me over a ticket. Yeah, that seems totally reasonable. And I say in response, did I say a cop should kill someone just for speeding? No, so stuff it. He says, try again, kiddo. There's absolutely no law on earth so petty that a cop won't kill you over it. Go ahead and name one if you can. And I said, try again, douchebag. Did I say I advocate for that? No, so again, stuff it. He says, so you'll just go right on supporting the thin blue line while they kill people for jaywalking? Cool. I guess that doesn't cross the line into advocating, so that makes it okay. Time to hop on the ACAB train, dude. If they will kill you for having a tail light out, then it is perfectly reasonable to kill them right back. And I said, you are literally the most bad faith subscriber I've ever had, because this guy, he's done a whole bunch of bad faith, assumptuous comments underneath my videos before, and it just got so annoying to where that I had to respond to this one. Continuing on, though, I don't support cops who kill people for jaywalking. I've never even considered myself a quote-unquote thin blue line guy. I had another reply to you earlier, but I guess YouTube took it down because it was too naughty. Yeah, because I called the guy the C word. And he says in response, but you do, though. Every single law without exception is worth killing you and me over. Literally every single one. It is not possible to be a supporter of police and be a moral person. They are 100% bad apples. And yeah, the guy just basically goes doubling down on his bad faith and strawman. And that's the point of where that became pointless. Guy showing his true colors after that. So it was like not worth it.
I see here, Pee-wee Niwi asks, did you even make a video about the Sharia law and open borders thing? Can you be a little more specific? I know what Sharia law is. I certainly know what the open borders debate is, but is there something in the news recently or some kind of issue in particular that I'm not aware of?
So Zachary Colley in the chat asks, Ham? And I presume he's thinking that the bad faith subscriber I'm talking about was Cult of Ham, a guy named Cult of Ham. But yeah, he was once subscribed to my YouTube channel, but no, even he's not as bad faith as this other subscriber that I was talking about, and that wasn't who I was talking about, Zach. But I'm amused that you asked that still, though. It goes to show as to how much the history and reputation of the guy kind of precedes him, of, how negative a character he has. He's the same guy who ended up rage quitting from that gun debate, by the way, everybody. If anybody had seen that highlight clip on my channel.
Yes, I'm aware.
Yep.
Yeah. Once again, I really don't get where this guy is coming from. It seems like complete BS to me.
Yeah, in that stream, I wasn't like going outright saying, "Oh yeah, I full on support the police" or anything else like that. And hello, Captain Pipsqueak. But
Hello, Captain Pipsqueak.
yeah, and
What
so
up, Pipsqueak?
I wasn't even like going on full on supporting the police. And I said those conversations about privatizing the police, I'm open to conversation of that. It's just in the advocacy of overly generalizing them or generally calling on for the execution of them indiscriminately that gets me a little bit more on edge, like for pulling over for a speeding ticket, like we mentioned earlier. Crickets.
I mean, I've pretty much said everything I have to say about the matter in the case for private police video, which I've tried to share in light of everything I've shared several times on Twitter when I thought was appropriate. But as Zachary Colley himself mentions here.
Yeah, it's been interesting to watch the multiple sides react to this. Both sides seem to be speaking past each other, and the right kind of got to the point where they just protect the cops no matter what, and the left side's like just want to destroy everything of the cops and the current society standing. And neither side wants to figure out what the core issue is, and that is the government itself.
Yeah, well said, Scorch.
I mean, people can't seem to fathom it's entirely possible that not all police officers are bad people, but that police as an institution are inherently corrupt, but that corruption doesn't necessarily have anything to do with racism. I mean, it's not a either or type of debate, yet everyone's treating it like it is. There are actually quite a few options on the table apart from the few that everyone is accepting as the major narratives.
You're either for the riots or you're for George Floyd getting killed by Derek Chauvin.
Yeah.
Did that a lot.
It's that whole spiel right there, and I've heard that basically those exact same words, only more earnestly, more emphatically from a lot of people. And I think to myself, are you crazy? Like, no. Just because somebody doesn't agree with, how the man, ended up dying and doesn't agree with that cop doesn't mean that, they hate all cops or anything like that. And by the same token, just because somebody feels sympathetic toward Mr. Floyd and his family for what happened doesn't mean they support all of the craziness that's going on. It's one of those situations where the world really shows you that the world itself is not entirely black and white. It doesn't work that way. And, it amazes me that people don't realize this. They don't realize this crap.
Yeah, and about the I don't know. Did you mention something a little bit earlier about the protesters? Not all of them saying that the police are like generally bad or something like that.
Yeah. I mean,
and
there have been plenty of protests, and and when I say protests, I mean actual protests, not the rioting and the looting and stuff.
Yeah.
Where people spoke out, but the thing of it is that not these people don't seem to hate police in general. They're just pissed off, because of what happened. And I respect that. It's something to be pissed off about because it shouldn't happen.
Yeah, and I kind of want to say on that example, on that point, give out an example that there's actually a guy, a Floyd protester in Salt Lake City, Utah, where apparently he had witnessed his own protest get hijacked by a whole bunch of violent thugs or something. And he was walking away saying, we go protesting for Black Lives Matter, yada yada, and says our police force here in Salt Lake City has an overall good reputation and so forth. And plus, here in Wichita, when the protests were peaceful, like last Friday and last Saturday, they even had like some police officers, including the police chief, Gordon Ramsay. Literally, that's his name, everybody.
Not the chef, right?
Yeah.
Yes, not to be confused with the chef.
That's exactly what I thought whenever I got reading about these articles. But yeah, they had some of the police participate and some the BLM protesters there. I use BLM in BLM protest kind of loosely, but all the same. They were like glad that the police were participating, that some police were participating, and fairly respectful towards them.
I was going to say the most ridiculous thing I probably saw this week was, I don't know if y'all saw the footage from Bethesda, Maryland, where like hundreds of white people came out to bow down to black people and recite their oath to never be racist.
God. Yeah. Oh God.
There was like another clip that was shown by Bearing, like one of his more recent videos, like the one before this last one, where he showed a clip of people literally praying to some black people, like kneeling, raising hands, and praying to some these standing black people.
I saw that one too.
For their white privilege and all that crap.
Yeah, I saw something about that, and I'm like, oh my God, this is retarded.
Well, what's retarded is they're virtue signaling about what great people they are and how they stand in solidarity with their black brothers and sisters. But the reality is, it won't make the other side. It will not absolve the other side's hatred and belief that America is a fundamentally racist country and every bad thing that happens to a black person is fundamentally caused by racism. They don't want the problem to be fixed because they need it. Without that enemy to fight, they have nothing.
Yeah, it's amazing, how often these groups, it doesn't matter what your skin color is, it doesn't matter any of this. People tend to cluster in groups over an argument that is fundamentally false, and then craziness happens, and I mean, you look around, you see all of this. You see the hands up, don't shoot. Actually, I think I sent this to you, 2 cents, but Matt Christensen actually did a video here earlier today, where he showed these hospital workers that were out on the front, the front driveway, the front door, the front entryway, whatever you want to call it, applauding these BLM protesters. Forget the whole social distancing thing. Forget all of that. No, that doesn't matter. It's all good. We're gonna clap like seals for these people, and it's amazing to me. Okay, where did all of your fundamental principles go, or did they not exist to begin with? It's truly fascinating and saddening in a way, because it's like, do people not realize that, okay, this is going entirely against everything that only a couple weeks ago you were advocating for, and now you're clapping like seals for them? What the hell?
I've seen the same issue going on the right side. Talk about how a few weeks ago, there's protesters at the Capitol have been fighting for their liberty and whatnot. And as of recent, I've been finding more and more people saying, "Screw their liberty, they deserve it."
Oh god. Saying screw their liberty to protest, they deserve it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Grambo's got it right. He says, yeah, the woke ideology has become a religion where you must repent of the sin of being born white. Even the black and brown ethno-nationalists are beginning to adapt this.
What kind of cartoon-ass world do we live in?
Well, I mean,
one where Donald Trump is president.
Exactly. If you are white, you're responsible for every bad thing a white person does. So you better get on your knees and pray to the black people to forgive you.
We live in a
Although,
world where Donald Trump is president, so that's
although,
cartoon enough.
although I guess I'm really want to speak about asking what kind of cartoon ass world do we live in, because at least 3 of us have cartoon avatars here.
Very true, very true. Which reminds me, I gotta send my final payment to my artist because I have some new art coming from my channel.
Oh, cool. Well, actually, expanding on that point, though, in fact, there are lots of political commentators that have cartoon avatars. So that's how cartoony the world has gotten.
Indeed, cartoons are a fundamental part of our world now.
Yeah, well, where political commentators be talking behind cartoon avatars now. Instead of talking behind a microphone on a radio, it's behind a cartoon avatar on a YouTube video.
Welcome to the new age.
Welcome to the new age. To the new age. No, I better stop before we get copyright strike. JC Armitage asks, "LOL, you serious? How bug written do you have? Do you think a place called Bethesda is? I guess it's supposed to be a joke on the Bethesda game manufacturing company. How their games are buggy in JC's opinion. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, they're very buggy games.
I am the Lord thy God who brought you out of captivity from Egypt. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Literally, the first of the 10 Commandments is Zachary Colley.
Yes,
Yeah, I mean,
he's saying that in reference to the whites praying to the blacks.
right. I mean, if anything, they should
Wow.
be like praying for forgiveness to God for treating their fellow man like shit. But no, they got their priorities wrong. Way wrong. Zachary Colley, LOL, when cartoons make more sense than the real deal.
Here's an interesting question. If life could be a cartoon, what cartoon would you pick?
Anime.
Probably not an anime. I mean, if it was to be an anime, it'd be one of the more serious, more nitty gritty animes, like I don't know, Berserk or Castlevania or something, rather than one of the more fruity, kiddish looking ones like Fruit Basket or whatever.
I'll go for a more Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z looks over the top fruity as well.
I'm going to go with
Fruity.
Animaniacs, the classic Warner Brothers cartoon.
It was just my opinion.
I'm going to vote Tiny Toons on that one.
Tiny Toons?
Yeah. I'm going to vote Tiny Toons because that actually, I grew up on that kind of stuff. And, yeah, it was really funny. And it's even funnier to watch now that I'm an adult. But, yeah. That's a world I could actually try to live in because, even when people hate each other, they still end up getting along. And okay, I can go with that.
And sent 1000. Well, he said Bugs Bunny a little bit earlier. I don't mean the newer Bugs Bunny. I mean the old school Bugs. Yeah, have everything animated to the style of old style cartoons, like the original Mickey Mouse, Popeye, and Bugs Bunny, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Wimpy, I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a cheeseburger today.
Right. Apparently that's oh god.
His economic style of Payback Tuesday is pretty much all America's economic style today.
Yes, take out a loan that you fully intend to pay back, but might not.
You took the words out of my mouth, Scorch.
Both of you took the words out of my mouth. I was about to tell him that he took the words out of my mouth, but then you said it before me, Mikhail. Screw you.
Well, screw you too, Dark Line.
But yeah, I was trying to say what Scorch said, but then he said it better than I was quick enough to find words for it. But anyway.
We still love you, brother.
Okay, Popeye would be legit. Like, have any of you seen the Robin Williams Popeye?
I've seen some bits of it, but I haven't actually seen the whole thing.
Yeah,
I don't think I have.
Video, actually, all things considered, it was pretty funny. I have to admit, I didn't see it until like years and years after it first came out, and I would never have pegged Robin Williams for that role, but he actually did a pretty good job, my opinion.
Do you guys remember the one truck driver from Toy Soldiers or Small Soldiers?
Not really.
Can't remember his name, but I remember the movie, and yeah, he was a goofball.
Yeah, no, I was mentioning him because he looks a whole lot more like Popeye the Sailor than Robin Williams does. Yeah, than Robin Williams does.
Good call. Now that I think about it, you're right. I agree.
I don't care for more looks as long as you can play the role.
In the ultimatum of things, I thought that the Popeye the Sailor movie with Robin Williams was like one of the better cartoon live action adaptations, along with Speed Racer. Any of you all seen that one?
Yeah, I remember that.
Speed
I saw
Racer from a
Grambo
few
mentioned
years ago.
Batman Beyond there. That is a show I haven't seen in a while, but that was actually a pretty good cartoon. If you are referencing the one where it takes place in the future.
Yeah, that's Batman Beyond. I grew up on Batman the Animated Series. I love that still.
I think what he's meaning is like, imagine if our world was to be a cartoon, if it was animated in the style of the Justice League and Batman Forever series. Is it Batman?
Fair enough. Batman
yeah.
the Animated Series was really good. Batman Beyond was really good. I personally, as of recently, I've watched some of the. Has anyone watched the Son of Batman movies that DC has put out over the past few years?
Nope.
I've seen clips, but I haven't seen that either.
Okay, I thought those were actually really well made.
You know, speaking of superhero movies, I hear that Titans has come out like after it's like been had a few episodes released, that it's been better than people's expectations were.
Titans, which streaming service is that on?
I could be totally wrong, but it's on the DCEU streaming service, I think is what it was.
No, I know DC had their own streaming service. I'll have to look into that.
Wow,
that's news to me. I had no idea.
I guess it shows of how obscure it is. You know, in fact, I'm going to pull up this one reaction for the trailer if I can right here for a second. Give me a few.
Fusion says we go from talking about riots to cartoons. You are absolutely right, and that's what Patron Hangout streams are.
Yay for Hangouts!
Grambo mentions, he says, I think Justice League Dark Apocalypse is the recent new animated movie. There was, in the Son of Batman series, there was one called Justice League Dark with John Constantine and a bunch of the other like Magic DC characters. I liked that one. Everyone mutes their mics as they wait for DarkCon to find the reaction.
I got it. I have the video pulled up. If you want to yeah, all right. So sharing audio as well. So let's go.
What have we here?
Basically, I was just wanting to show everybody's reaction, what their initial reactions were to the Titans trailer. Like, had anyone else ever seen the Titans trailer?
I have not.
Nope, nothing here.
I gotcha.
But that was quite a reaction.
And yes, I do watch a lot of Markiplier people. Don't judge me.
You can always tell. I would say you know what somebody is into by looking at if the front page of their YouTube channel or one of these like post video screens. You can tell what kind of videos they watch.
Watch a lot of Magog, and I watch a lot of Critical Drinker. Of course, there's Plebeian Media and Ranting Monkey. And I've really been getting into Josh Gad's interviews, where he's interviewing actors from 80s movies, just older movies in general. This one is like Lord of the Rings, as the title obviously shows. I really suggest giving it a watch because there's this one part in it that just really gives a nerd goosebumps when they go watching it. If anyone else is a big Lord of the Rings fan. But yeah.
I do like Lord of the Rings. I can't say I'm like a huge Lord of the Rings fan, but it was definitely an entertaining book series and movies.
Yeah, I tried listening to the books, like the audiobooks, but the first one just not instantly bored me, but it just bored me too fast. Like they would go off on tangents. Like there was this one part of where that Gandalf was plotting on whether or not to turn Samwise into a toad, and then it just dragged on too much. It was taking a real big meandering. It's like, get on with it. Get on with the point already.
Of the two classic authors who were both best friends, I'd have to say I like C.S. Lewis better than J.R.R. Tolkien. I thought he did a better job of balancing detail with keeping the story going.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I have listened to most of the audiobooks for the Narnia series. And now that you mention it, yeah, he is a better writer, C.S. Lewis is.
Just out of sheer morbid curiosity, since we're on the topic of classic writers, anybody starting to get some sneaking suspicions that Eric Arthur Blair might have been right about the coming creeping tyranny?
I mean,
George Orwell.
yeah.
Oh, coming creeping tyranny, of course. The 1984, that book's more like a prediction and prophecy now than that was a novel.
Yeah. The reason I bring this up is, I look around today, I look at, all of the cameras, all of the sensors, all of the, you can't say that because blah, 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 this, that, and the other. And I think, okay, wait a minute. Are we still a free country? Or was Orwell onto something?
Oh, he was absolutely onto something. One thing I'd also say, Ludwig von Mises, the great Austrian economist, if you read his work, Socialism, the Economic Problem in the Socialist Commonwealth, Human Action, like books that were all published in the early 1900s, and you look at how he predicts what will happen in socialist nations, and you watch how it played out over and over and over again in the Soviet Union and Cuba and Venezuela, and now unfortunately in the United States and the European Union. It's like none of it's new. The people of old had already figured this stuff out and realized it didn't work, would predict exactly what would happen, and it's all coming to pass.
I'm sorry, I just noticed this one chat comment that's directed towards me. Zachary Colley in the chat. Hey, Darkon, what kind of anime would you make it if it involved S-Man and the quote-unquote MILFed cuttlefish? I don't know. I would have to give that some further thought, but I know that S-Man would kill me if I tried to turn him into an anime character because he freaking hates anime for the life of him. I'm not the biggest anime fan myself, but I'm just rather picky about it because too many animes have the characters that absolutely spurg out and have them over the top reactions whenever they get angry and whatnot with the fast moving waving hands. You know what I'm talking about? Whenever they get shouty and angry.
Yeah, that's just a normal anime trope.
I thought for me, the key defining factor of anime was the fact that people's mouths are incredibly tiny when closed and ridiculously wide when open.
It's just the art style.
Or the fact that their eyes are incredibly big. Like, I know that I kind of draw my character's eyes probably a little bit too big myself, but anime just takes it to a whole nother level.
That it does.
I mean, that's why I like it.
Although at the same time, I cannot help it when I'm drawing a girl because I like big eyes.
That comment could have gotten very dirty and demonetized this stream, but big eyes, that's all right.
I think you're already too late with all the cursing that I brought to this stream, so sorry, 2 cents.
Don't worry about it. It was bound to have. I think I self-demonetized this anyways because now, for those that aren't aware, YouTube now, if your channel is monetized, every video you put up, you actually have to answer a survey to like basically rate your videos yourself as to whether or not they should be monetized or demonetized. And if you try to monetize a video that the algorithm then determines should be demonetized, it like you lose brownie points and most of your videos get demonetized. So as far as streams go, I've just pretty much been self-demonetizing unless I lose my ability to monetize any videos.
Wow. I mean, I was also not giving a flying crap about cursing on this stream, mostly because of the fact that what was I going to say? Mostly because of Kappa, you know?
Yeah, and then there's
FYI,
that the ultimate catch-22.
FYI, everybody, this stream is not for children. And by the way, I'm going to have to get off of this stream in about 4 minutes. Just FYI.
No problem. We're getting to the top of the hour anyways.
Some of the anime tropes can be funny, but after a time they get dull, says Zachary Colley. Yeah, there's this one girl that I had seen a video of where she was like talking about the top 20, I think it was, anime stereotypes. And one of those anime stereotypes was, quote, gravity-defying boobs, unquote.
Indeed.
Gravity-defying boobs. Yes.
Apparently Japanese men are pretty horny.
I don't think that's unique to Japanese men, but okay.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I was say, isn't that all men
Mr. Weekly Hottie.
Indeed. There are two types of men, those that admit that they're horny and those that don't.
Yeah. You know what really annoys me is whenever you get guilt tripped or shamed by a freaking traditionalist, conservative, traditionalist, social conservative on your videos. So like, aren't you a Christian? Why are you presenting weekly hotties? Why are you presenting all these scantily clad women at the end of your videos? And blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I've pretty much taken to ignoring them.
And by the way, folks.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, you know what I say to people like that? Okay, Karen.
That's racist of you, McKill. Whee! But anyway, by the way, FYI, people, I've never ever been to subscribe to No Bullshit, but I remember like way back in the day of before he had hit 100,000 subscribers, he used to have footage like at the end of his videos of just bikini haul women strutting across a catwalk and whatnot. Does anybody like remember those old videos of his?
I do. I used to be subscribed to No Bullshit.
Oh, you poor child.
I know.
I was too. Yeah.
I was almost tempted to subscribe to him at one time, but then all the controversies that came out that was exposed by my buddy S-Man Speaks and Loudmouth Reviews. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, this guy is not only an idiot, but also a big fat fucking liar. Did he stop doing that? Asks JC Armitage. I think he pretty much did for his modern day videos.
I don't know. I haven't watched any of his videos in a long time. I will say, like personally, even despite all the drama he got involved in, his videos stopped being entertaining after a while, and that's why I unsubbed. But it's why I encourage all YouTubers out there, just stay away from drama. If somebody wants to critique my videos and say, you know, I'm an idiot and my ideas are dumb, and you know this video sucks because such and such reasons, I'm more than willing to engage with you. If somebody comes along wanting to argue I'm a horrible person, I don't care. You're entitled to your opinion, but I'm not going to engage you.
I hate all the drama that goes on.
By the way, No BS is actually still on YouTube. Just FYI, Scorch.
Oh well.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Hey, you know, this is just a thought of mine, but you know what you just said, 2 cents. You know, doesn't that kind of apply to like life in general? You know, if somebody is willing to actually engage in an honest debate, an honest dialogue, that's one thing. But if somebody is just mudslinging, then, well, screw them. Who cares? I'm just saying.
Absolutely. You know, recently, this video didn't get as many views as I hoped it did, but recently I put out a video that was really just kind of a rant on my part called "No One Owes You Anything, but You Don't Owe Them Anything Either." And that wasn't, you know, now that's it was kind of, it was broadly inspired by a famous libertarian essay by a guy named Harry Brown. But the point of it wasn't, it's not just in the economic sense that you're not owed money just or resources just for existing, but like relationally as well. You're not owed friendship or a romantic relationship or anything just because you exist. People do not have to be your friends. People do not have to talk to you or engage with you. If they do, it's because they want to, not because they have to. Therefore, all these debates where people are saying, where, you know, if you get into a debate with someone and then you can tell this isn't a good faith conversation, you're not going to change each other's minds, so you end the conversation, and, you know, they rag on you for trying to silence them, or you know, you don't believe in free speech. No, I absolutely believe in free speech. I also believe I don't need to waste my time talking to somebody if I don't enjoy the conversation. You're entitled to your opinions, but I don't have to talk to you. And if you think that makes me a horrible person, so be it. If you're
Well said.
if you're constantly pestering me because you want to be my friend, I'm sorry, but I don't have to be your friend. If I don't enjoy your company, then I don't owe you friendship. And if you think I'm a jerk, so be it. But then again, if I'm a jerk, why do you want to be my friend?
Yeah. But anyway, moving on. I actually have to go, you guys. So it was nice hanging out. Thanks for the invite, 2 cents.
No problem. Good to have you here, Darkon.
Glad to speak with you, Darkon. Have a good one.
Bye-bye, y'all. I have a couple of editing projects coming out, so stay tuned for that. See y'all.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Now, JC Armitage has a very profound comment here. It seems pretty much like everyone in the skeptic community is going down the shitter, not just no bullshit. And I'm going to say absolutely yes, but here's something I'd like to point out. What really is the skeptic community anymore? Because even before I became a YouTuber, I mean, I think back to probably like 2013, 2014, when the skeptic community was really getting big on YouTube. You know, it was just people who made response videos to feminism, young Earth creationism, whatever other flat earthers, whatever other issues. And so long as you were critiquing low-hanging fruit ideas on the internet, you were part of the skeptic community. But now it's like, what really is the skeptic community anymore, other than I honestly don't know. If anybody's got any opinions, I'm open to hear them.
I know the liberalist group that Sargon tried to create became nothing but an extreme right-wing political fest of bad ideas, and it rejects anything and it poison the well with any arguments you give them.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it just goes, and you know, communities naturally go through evolution, but I feel like on YouTube especially, you have these spikes in certain kind of videos that are really popular for like a year or two, and then mysteriously everybody just disappears. Or the ones that don't disappear, their content becomes total crap.
Yeah, most of them seem to be gone now. A few still
Fusion
stay,
says
but
the skeptic
not much.
community is now dead, sadly.
Not sadly. I don't really care for them. They evolved into something I didn't care for. They wouldn't became skeptical. They became ideologically driven by the political beliefs instead.
All right. Well, with that, it has been about an hour, so I will have to shut this stream down. I will say to everyone, unfortunately, I don't have the means to make a regular video this week, but we had this stream. There will be another stream tonight. So thanks, everybody, for checking it out. Mikhail, Scorch, and the rest of my patrons, thank you so much for continuing to support my work. It means the world to me. And hopefully we'll have more of these streams this month.
Thanks for having me, 2 cents.
All right. Adios, everyone. And as always, that's my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth.